After working with over 100 plus aesthetic practices between 2024 and 2025 alone, here's a big mistake that so many of you are making. And guess what? It's a costly mistake. So, we're going to start the new year off strong with my very first video of 2026. And guess what? We're going to school. So, grab a pen, grab a notebook, make yourself something to drink, and most importantly, introduce yourself to all of your colleagues, aka drop your name and what you do down in the comment section. Now, before I get into today's video, a little analytical birdie stopped in to tell me that 67% of you who always watch my videos, so obviously you like something about my channel, you come time and time again, but you're not subscribed. So let's fix that. If you are an aesthetic practice owner, which I'm sure you are if you tune into my videos, and you're looking for marketing and growth tips that increase revenue and feed your bank account, not your ego, then consider subscribing to my channel. A big costly mistake that I see so many of you make time and time again is that your follow-up system is either inconsistent or non-existent. You're literally just expecting people to see your post on social media, or some of you may even invest in paid advertisement, and then you're expecting clients to go straight from the post or the ad over to your booking link. Now, here's the thing. Does that never happen? Of course it happens. We have clients time and time again where they will see a video we just posted about CO2 laser or cool peel laser or just something, some laser or whatever, and obviously other services too. And then they go straight from that reel to book an appointment. This does happen. So I'm not saying that it does not happen at all, but there are other types of patients out there who just want more information before they book an appointment. And those are the types of patients that we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, the types of aesthetic practice owners that I see make this mistake, because yes, there are two of you, are either the solopreneurs. Maybe you're just getting started. It's just you, and all you have is you consistently posting on social media. Maybe you're investing in a couple of paid ads, and then you just have a booking site, and you are just sending everyone from your social media post over to your booking site, expecting them to book an appointment. The second type of aesthetic practice owner that makes this mistake are the MDs who just invited cash pay services into their practice. Now, most of you are stuck in the insurance mindset. You're used to referring doctors calling your offices. You're used to patients going to their insurance portal and getting your name off the website. So then they blow your phone up because they need a tooth pulled, or they need to have some sort of surgery, or they need their labs done. So of course, in that case, they're going to blow you up. But in medical aesthetics, you have to nurture the clients. You have to nurture them to the sale, because you have different buyer types. And some buyer types, which in my experience, these are your best types of clients, are the ones that want to do their research first. They want to ask a million bajillion questions before they book an appointment. And there has to be someone there that can answer these questions to get them on the schedule. Now, that is where your sales hat comes on, your sales hat or your team sales hat, because honestly, you shouldn't be bombarded with things like this, but it just depends on where you are in business. So if you have someone working for you, they should be equipped to talk to callers and turn interested callers into booked appointments. Now, am I saying that you need to spend a lot of time giving free medical assessments over the phone? Hell no, because your time is valuable. But what I am saying is that you need to be able to have someone in this position that can answer questions for these clients before they book an appointment, because everyone is not going to just see your post on social, interact with your ad, and then go over and book an appointment. That would happen in a perfect world, but people they're just more skeptical now. The skepticism radar is higher than ever before, and people want a connection. They want to know that you're a real functioning office. They want to know that you're credentialed, that you know what you're talking about. And most importantly, they just want a pleasant experience. So, what I have found is that when you just have a booking site, that's it. That's all you have is a booking site. And patients don't actually talk to someone before they book an appointment. And this is for those of you who don't charge for consultations or you don't have deposits in place. Your no-show rate is higher because the patient, all they did was they did their own research and then they just booked their appointment. They didn't talk to nobody. They didn't get a good feeling. No one answered their questions. They just booked the appointment. And what happens is the no-show rates are a little higher because there's no personal connection. They hadn't talked to anybody. They don't feel committed to come into this appointment. Now, picture this. Someone sees your post on social media. They call the office. They have a million questions. Who knows what their question is? But you talk to them. You get their name, their phone number, their email, and you tell them, oh, your name is Shauna? Well, that's such a pretty name. My aunt's name is Shauna. And, maybe your aunt name ain't Shauna for real, but you get my drift. You're talking to them. You are providing a top-notch customer experience before they even come into the office. Now, this person is going to be slightly more committed to coming up and showing up for their appointment because you were simply nice to them. Something as small as you telling Shauna that her name is pretty and you have an aunt named Shauna. Those are little things that patients remember, and it will make them more likely to show up for their appointment. Now, here's something that we do for a lot of our accounts. We have opt-in forms embedded all throughout the website, right? From the contact us page to the end of our blog post, we have opt-in forms. Now, these opt-in forms they're basically just like a request to call back because, again, remember, like I said, there are different buyer types. Some buyer types, they want more information than you even have on your website. Maybe you have a frequently asked questions page about the Cool Pill laser. Maybe you already have that on your website. Well, guess what? People will still call. They will still want those same questions answered. Not because they can't read, but because they just want a human connection. They want to talk to an actual human. And this is why I am so against AI receptionists, because it immediately strips the customer experience. Nobody wants to talk to a robot. And especially when they are spending high ticket, they want to talk to a person. They want to know, or they want to feel 100% confident about their buying decision. So we have opt-in forms on the website. Of course, we ask the basic information: first name, last name, email, phone number. But then we'll also ask to tell us your skincare concern, or did you see some sort of promotion that you have a question about? Are you interested in a specific service? They do the drop down menu and then they answer all the questions. Now, this form goes to the office and someone in the office will call this patient back, answer all their questions, and you never say things like, okay, Miss Shauna, could you tell me when you want to come in? Because you are putting too much pressure on Shauna. Again, put your sales hat on. I need you to think for Shauna. I need you to tell Shauna that you have a Monday at 3 available and a Wednesday at 5 available. Out of those days, which one works best with your schedule? That is less thinking on her half. Then guess what? You've answered all of her questions. You made her feel overly confident about her financial decision to invest in your aesthetic services. Now Shauna is going to be more likely to book an appointment and more likely to show up for her appointment, all because there is customer interaction. There is somebody that is there to answer her questions. She's not talking to a robot, someone who is skilled and trained and knows how to turn a curious caller into a booked appointment. And again, yes, there are times where patients will see your social media post or they'll see your ad and then they'll just immediately book. But you don't want to miss out on the clients that are not quite ready to book yet. Um, we have clients right now where we're running paid ads for them, and we may say the location where they're located. We may say what the offer is. We may even include pricing. We will give you more information than you know what to do with within the ad. But people will still send messages in the inbox and say, where are you located? How many units come with this deal? What is the price for this? Or maybe they may say, I see what you're offering, but I only need, or whatever. That's a red flag. But that's another conversation for another day, because now they're trying to tell you what they need, and you have to watch out for things like that. But maybe we'll do a video on like client red flags. If you want me to do that, drop the word red flag in the comments. But anyways, you want to be there to answer these questions, because these clients, they are hot and ready. Their intent is, I'm ready to book. However, I have a few additional questions that I need someone to answer first. They're hot and they're ready. Now, if you don't have anybody there that can answer these questions, then guess what? They're going to call the next office, and the next office will have a fully equipped staff, fully equipped team that knows how to turn that caller and that conversation into a booked appointment. So again, here's the solution. Let me be honest. Most aesthetic practices are sitting on thousands in missed revenue. And it's not because patients are not interested in your services. It is simply because nobody knows what to do during the downtime, during those slower moments. And that is exactly why I put together a list of 37, come a little closer, 37 revenue generating activities to get that momentum flowing back into your practice, and it allows you to fill the gaps in your schedule instantly. All you got to do is click the link in the description box below. Now let's get back into the video. If you are a solopreneur, or you're an MD and you just invited cash pay services into your office, or you're a solopreneur just getting started, you need lead management. You have to track your leads, and you don't just call them one time. You know, something that I hear with a lot of our clients today, and it's usually the staff that just, to be honest, they're the clock in and clock out type. So they're not tenacious about closing the lead, right? They call them one time. Or they'll say, Cheri, we tried reaching out to this person, but they didn't answer the phone. Well, guess what? How many spam callers do you get on your cell phone a day? Okay, I'll wait while you answer that question. The spam calls are increasing. So therefore, your strategy and your approach needs to change with it. Now, I know I get at least 5 spam callers calling my phone. And if I don't recognize the number, then I ain't answering. So you have to think people are like that. Everybody's mainly like that. So what I suggest all the time is, for one, shoot them a text. And we're not asking for permission. We're not saying, is it okay to call you? Because they probably won't answer that either. But instead, you're going to say, hello, Shauna, this is Teresa. I'm about to give you a call. Our number is boom, boom, boom. And you want to do this ideally within 5 minutes of them reaching out to you. Now, once you get Shauna on the phone, within that 5-minute time frame, because she is searching, because she is hot and ready, the chances of you closing her will be a little higher than her just saying, no, it's okay, I don't want to book today, because she just submitted that form, or she just interacted with your ad online. It just really depends on what your specific practice is doing as far as funneling in the leads. Now, here's the thing. Here's a solution, because there is always a solution. We offer lead tracking and management to some of our accounts, but you have to be a good fit. We have to see that you have leads coming in consistently to where you just can't even manage the amount that are coming in. Now, a lot of you will say, oh, my marketing company sucks, or the ads are not working. I've heard so many different things. And when we peel back the onion and we look further internally to what's going on in your office, in your booking, on your booking site, on your EHR, on your CRM, whatever you have, we normally find that no one is nurturing the leads. They're coming in, right? And then again, depending on how they're coming in. If you're running some sort of discount where you're like excessively discounting your services, then expect shitty leads. Expect those leads to come in only looking for a discount, only looking for a promotion. Now, I don't recommend doing that because you can't retain those types of clients. Those types of clients are just there for the promotion, for the sale, or whatever. And then the second you raise your prices back to normal, they're all over Google blasting you. So I don't recommend doing that. I recommend doing add-on services to get people in the door. But again, every account is different because every account offers a different service or treatment. Like we have an account right now where, she doesn't have a lot of Botox on hand. So it would not be smart of us to run a Botox offer. We have an office where we are running a Botox offer right now, and it's actually doing well, but she is seeing the use for lead management, nurturing the leads, being there to respond to their DMs within the first 5 minutes, getting them on the phone. Another big mistake that I see a lot of you make is when the lead does come in, instead of picking up the phone to call them, because so many of you don't like talking to people, you just do the whole back and forth email thing. And that is when you lose people. If they've already given you their phone number, get them on the phone. I know me, I am way more impressionable when I can talk to somebody. If I got to sit up and email you back and forth, the oomph is just not there. But if I can get you on the phone, like I'm 100% confident that I know I'm going to get you on the schedule. And that is why we started offering lead management, because like I told you guys in my last video, the math just wasn't mathing. I know that we were generating 50 plus leads for some of our accounts. But then when I logged into Aesthetic Record, when I logged into Jane, when I logged into Boulevard, I noticed that not all 50 were on the schedule. Now, let me be clear. You're never going to have 100% conversion rate. That's just, again, in a perfect world. But you at least want to have a 40% conversion rate. You at least want some of them to end up on the schedule. But here's where the revenue driver comes in. What happens to the ones who didn't end up on the schedule? That's how you do intense homework, because you want to know what happened to these people. Did they just want more questions answered? And if they did, write those questions down, pass them to your marketing team so we can teach you how to handle these client objections. Or we can even use some of these questions throughout your content so that other people can see them. So then when they go over to your Instagram or your Facebook or your TikTok or wherever you are, and they see that these questions are already answered, boom, now they're ready to move to the next step. Is go watch the video, I'll link it here somewhere, where I show you how we do lead management and tracking for some of our accounts. If you're interested and you want to get started with lead management and tracking, you have to apply first. Yes, it is. Almost everything that I do is application only. Like, I'm going to be honest, because I want to make sure you're a good fit. I also don't want people to say, oh, well, Cheri, what you're doing is not working. What I do works. It works. I am 100% confident in the services that we provide, but you have to be in a position to win. If you're in a position to win, then guess what? You're going to be number one in your city and state when you work with us. That is how confident I am. I've been in the medical field for a long time. A lot of you don't know this, or you may know this, but I used to have a blog and I called it notjustaprettyface.com. And the reason why I named it that was because when I used to work in these medical offices, I always felt like some way, somehow, I always ended up back at the front desk with all the skills that I had. I was a certified medical biller. I did patient coordinating. I did insurance off, all the things. I always ended up back at the front desk. And, the whole thing they say about pretty privilege. I had great customer service. I kept myself up, and they always wanted me at the front desk. So when I was kind of going through my phase of being overworked and underpaid, I was like, you know what? I know I deserve better than this. I need to be doing something that is more fulfilling. I am so ready to experience what the next level looks like for Cheri. And that is when I launched my marketing company. But the thing is, most offices kept me at the front desk because I was just so great at what I did. I had the top-notch customer service. I would always get people to say yes. And especially when I started getting plastic surgery and med spa services on myself, everybody always wanted to know, Cheri, what do you do? Whatever you did, that's what I wanted to do. Or I remember when I worked at a plastic surgeon's office, I would always get different questions about pre-op, post-op, going under anesthesia, all those questions. And I couldn't really answer them thoroughly in the beginning. But then the second I got liposuction, I felt like I was a walking salesperson, right? So anyways, I know that was a little off track, but needless to say, I made a blog. It was called notjustaprettyface.com. Some of you may remember. It honestly depends on how long you've been around. But I made that because I wanted to prove to myself that I was more than just a pretty face. So a little bit of backstory about me. With my lead management services, I'm not just handling leads. I'm installing a system that tracks, follow-ups, qualifies, and closes the client versus hoping that they just see your social media post and then book an appointment. So here's what I want you to take away from this. You need a follow-up system. You need someone that is there to nurture the lead. You should be way more concerned with what happens to the lead when they come in versus things like, did I go viral today? How many times did I post on social media? Did I use medical terminology in my videos? All that's fun and cute. But again, that's the type of marketing that feeds your ego. I am here to provide you with the types of marketing that feeds your bank account, that increases revenue. And likes and followers, that does not do that. But handling your leads properly, that is what does that. Oh, and I also want to add, because another thing that I don't see, or maybe I did talk about this. And okay, no, I stopped. I talked about texting them before you call. But another mistake that I see often is that you don't call enough. Okay. Exhaust all of your efforts. Call them 2 times in one day. Then the next day, pull out your list, call them again, because people are just so busy and they're just so tied up in just life and doing all the things that you do to life. But you have to stay on top of every lead. And that is how you increase your revenue. So if you are interested in lead tracking and management services, the first thing I want you to do is use the link in the description box below to apply, because I'm pretty sure this is the missing link to your entire marketing system. So if you're already running paid ads, if you post consistently on social media, you see your DMs constantly blowing up, 9 times out of 10, you need lead management. So if this video was helpful, give me a thumbs up. Ask any question that your little beautiful heart desires in the comment section. Come follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Shoot me a message on Instagram and just say, hey, Cheri, we watched your video about lead management and we want to get started. We want to see how this can be applied to our practice. And most importantly, while you wait on next week's video, watch this video here so you can learn exactly how we implement lead tracking and management for our clients. All right, I'll see y'all in that video.